We're just getting ready to go with our stream. We're getting a little bit of boom here, so we're going to adjust the sound, and we'll be back with you just around 6:30. Shalom, shalom.
Oh, say shalom, shalom bimromav. We say shalom, aleichem.
רוצה יותר לריב, לא רוצה יריב, לא רוצה מלחמה. השלום בדרך, בליבי הנחמה. בואו ונזרוק את השנאה, כי אני ואתה רוצים את השלום. תנו לי להגשים את החלום, ועכשיו אני פונה אלייך ואליך. רואה את השלום בעינייך ועיניך. בוא נעשה שלום ונרים את המקום, כי היום אנו בונים את העתיד, הילדים שלנו. ומי עוד יעשה את זה אם לא אנחנו? עושה שלום, שלום במרומיו, והוא יעשה שלום עלינו.
עושה שלום, שלום במרומיו, יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום, שלום במרומיו, יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום, שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו, ואמרו
We are gifts and we are blessings. We are His story in song. We are hope and we are healing. We are learning to be strong. We are words and we are stories. We are pictures of the past. We are carriers of wisdom, not the first and not the last. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך. לדור ודור we protect this chain. From generation to generation, לדור ודור, these lips will praise your name. Looking back on the journey that we carry in our hearts, from the shadow of the mountain to the waters that would part. We are blessed and we are holy. We are children of your way, and the words that bring us meaning, we will have the strength to say.
for us to rejoice and celebrate in it. So I'm so thrilled to be here with all of you and with all of you as we celebrate today. We're going to begin with words that you all know, and you all know, from Psalm 133, how good and beautiful it is for us to be together, to be able to be here on this day.
So shalom, everyone. So nice to see all of the beautiful faces of the families that I have come to know so intimately and closely over the years, not only working with your students, but having a student that is part of this bigger family. So please join in. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. Same words, little different melody. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
We thank the Holy One of Blessing for giving us life and for sustaining us and for allowing us to reach this time. You'll find the words to Shehechianu on page 344 as we sing together in gratitude.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. Again. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. Amen, everybody.
in the theme of gratitude and praise, and in the theme of Rosh Chodesh, which it is today. It is the beginning of the month of Sivan, of a new month in the Jewish calendar. We offer psalms of praise. We sing together, Hallelujah. Page 100.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
We are going to turn to page 26. So we continue with our service with Chatzi Kaddish. I'll invite Ben and Evan to come and lead us. They have their own. We all rise for Baruch Hu, our call to prayer.
La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai Havorach. Baruch Adonai Havorach Leolam Va'ed.
You may be seated. Last three lines in the Hebrew on page 30, El Chai V'Kayam.
El Chai V'Kayam Taminim L'Chaleinu Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Hamariv Haraviv.
biggest part of my Jewish identity is the connections that I make from sharing the Jewish experience. When I meet someone new, I establish some form of connection to them, whether it be acquaintanceship, friendship, or something else. But when I know or I figure out that that person is also Jewish, that bond and sense of understanding and connection grows much faster and stronger than someone with a different religious and cultural experience. There's obviously the connection with people at my temple, but I found this most applies when I meet people I did not grow up with. For example, when I started high school, I was at a different school than I am now. I transferred around the beginning of second semester and missed out on the beginning of year connections that everyone else got. A classmate of mine became my welcome buddy and started introducing me to her friends. One of those friends was Amelia. And we were having a regular conversation at lunch until she brought up matzo ball soup. That led to the discovery that we were both Jewish, and I remember feeling so excited to have met a Jew that didn't already go to my temple. Of course she does now, but that's because I dragged her here. And now we're best friends, and it all grew from the connection of our Judaism. I can also recall the first time that I went to a Jewish sleepaway camp. It was a small, nifty event, 2 days and 1 night. I remember going there and feeling super awkward at first. I found a group of kids to hang out with, and it was really cool. But then we go to dinner, and we're doing the pre-meal prayers, and it hits me that I'm not just at a camp with a bunch of random kids. I'm at a camp with a bunch of other Reformed Jews, ones that I've never met in my life, and yet every single one of us shares this thing in common. And over the short amount of time, I really got to know these kids, and we had a lot of fun together. It was less than 48 hours long, but it was such a great experience, and I felt such a strong connection and bond to everyone there because of this one thing. I think that this is because Jews have gone through so much for so long that the simple experience of being Jewish is able to push us all together, giving us strong bonds and fast friendships that can last a lifetime. And that is something truly special and is a very important part of defining who I am as a Jew and what makes being Jewish so special.
Ever since I could remember, my family has practiced Judaism. From sitting around the table, singing Dayenu, making haroset with my mom and grandma, laka parties for Hanukkah, and so many fond memories of blowing the shofar. Most of these memories are tied to my family back east. My grandfather was president of the Jewish Federation and supported the development of the JCC in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. I often think of him. He was a very loving and very proud man, a surgeon who often spoke of the Jewish doctors who could only practice at a few hospitals where they had privileges. He also spoke of welcoming everyone, certainly loved to entertain, with a house full of guests whenever we came to visit, and long visits to the bookstore, where we would have hot cocoa and read stories for hours. There are so many memories right here at this temple. Shabbat with Ken or Paul, holiday songs before Oneg, running around with our preschool class, the Brotherhood Magicians. So much of my life has been touched by our stories, traditions, and temple memories. And I feel as if I stand here today that the lessons I've learned and the people I've met on my journey with Judaism are long-lasting, a journey that has just begun and will continue with apples and honey, infused with so many memories, pomegranates full of history. Thank you for all the seeds planted in my heart and mind.
We turn to page 34 and 35. Invite everybody who can comfortably able to do so to please rise as we join in singing Shema Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kivod, Shem Kivod Malkuto, Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
be seated. We are on page 36.
Ve'avta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anuhi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha Vishinantam livaneha vidibartabam Vishifteha beveteha uvlefteha vadere ushokbeha uvkumeha ukshaktam leot al yadeha vehayu litotafot bein eineha Uvtavtam al mezuzah beiteha uvishareha leman tiskeru vatzitem et kol mitzvotai vitem kedoshim lelehem ani Adonai Elohehem asher hotzeti ethem Meretz Mitzrayim, liot lahem Elohim, ani Adonai Elohehem.
Adonai Elohechem, Emet.
You're going to stay here because you're going to do your speech now. Just move to the center so you have it.
I've been immersed in the Jewish community for as far back as I can remember. From the beginning of my life, I went to preschool at my local Jewish community center in Tucson. From kindergarten, I went on to the JCC after-school program, and I went to the same JCC for summer camp and went to elementary school at the Hebrew Academy next door. All of my early memories have the Jewish community and our traditions infused in them. My favorite part about Judaism is our community, because I've seen from an early age how it can bring us together. Some of my earliest memories are the Shabbat services every Friday, of the aftercare program in the JCC, in the stunning art gallery with the couple who headed up the aftercare program. They were amazing musicians, and I always looked forward to Shabbat. From the prayers we sang, the music we learned, the pretend candles and wine, and the challah and juice. As soon as I was old enough, they allowed me to be part of the services for the younger children. My first experiences with music were through the same after-school program where I learned to play music with instruments and with friends I made and kept throughout my time in Tucson. Every Saturday, we would go to our temple and participate in Hebrew school and learn about the culture of Judaism with my friends. One of my favorite parts was going to the oneg with everybody, and adults and children sat around enjoying talking with each other, eating together, and playing together. My friends and I would climb the big tree in front of the synagogue. It's the only tree I've ever climbed. My family and I participated with the Jewish community at both the synagogue and the JCC for many events, such as the chocolate seders, Purim fairs, and Hanukkah parties all together. One of my favorite events was the challah bake, where over 400 women in the community came together and baked challah, sang and danced, and celebrated the strong women of Judaism. Lastly, one of the big skills that I learned was to speak Hebrew. I was taught Hebrew at Tucson Hebrew Academy and learned to become semi-fluent. I've continued to use my Hebrew through my bat mitzvah and now through confirmation. Reading the Torah at my bat mitzvah was one of my proudest moments. Today, I've become a strong cultural Jew and maintain this by continuing my relationship with my synagogue, my Jewish friends, and continuing to participate in Jewish traditions in my home and now through my community. Thank you.
Step back. Go to your seats because you're going to sit.
I've always struggled with religion. Being the only Jewish person in your friend group makes you question a lot. The one thing that's always brought me back to Judaism is sleepaway camp and the community it brings. I've been going to Ginling Hilltop Camp since I was in 3rd grade. It's my home away from home. The lifelong friends you meet from living with them for a month is priceless. My mom went there too. She was a camper, CIT, and counselor. GHC always reminds me what it is to be Jewish. It's not all about believing in God, but believing and striving for a better world. Jewish tradition teaches us that it is our responsibility to work and make our world better. Last summer at camp, I was in mitzvah, which means it was my last year as a camper. Each mitzvah year does a community service project and one camp mural. Our community service project was helping at the local animal shelter. They take care of cats, horses, dogs, and even donkeys. My group cleaned out their storage room. We helped sort boxes of blankets, beds, towels, and then we got to meet all the cute animals. Before my bat mitzvah, I also helped out with teaching arts and crafts at my Nana's senior living home. Sadly, this was cut short by COVID. This one lady who I helped make a tote bag told me something that I won't forget. She told me that I was doing a good deed by helping her and the other seniors. I told her that I was just doing it to be helpful and giving back to the place taking care of my Nana, and she replied it was still a good deed. The rest of the day, I felt amazing realizing how much of a difference I was making. These 2 community service projects really helped me realize that just because I don't follow all the Jewish laws, I'm not a bad Jew. I'm still Jewish through and through. I try to make the world a better place by doing mitzvot. This summer, I'm going to Israel with some of my friends from camp, and we will continue to make Jewish connections with old and new friends. Being a part of a Jewish community and working to make our world a better place are important ways that I connect with my Jewish identity.
Page 40. We sing in celebration at the miracles of life. Sometimes, some of these, not all of the students here, but some of these students I've known since either they were really little or maybe even before they were born, for some of them. And it's even a little bit miraculous to be able to be here and share this moment with you. It makes me feel older than I feel at this moment. But we sing in celebration, Micha Mocha, our song of freedom and miracles.
Yada die 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 yada die 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 yada die 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 yada die 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 yada die 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 yada die 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 Mi chamocha bailim Adonai Mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh noratilon O say fella, Malchutcha ra'u banecha Vokeyam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam Malchutcha ra'u banecha Vokeyam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam Yada die 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 yada die 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 yada die 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 yada die 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 yada die 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 yada die 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 yada die Zaili anu yameru Adonai imlo lelam lelam laed yada die 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 yada die 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 yada die 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 yada die 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 yada die 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 yada die 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 ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו יד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
We continue with Hashkivenu. The Hebrew words of Hashkivenu can be found on page 42. You don't have the English words that are going to be sung, but many of you know them. So, yeah.
Hachkivenu
Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. Ve'ha'amidenu shoreinu l'chaim. Ufrosalinu sukash lomecha, ufrosalinu sukash lomecha. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Oh, Adonai.
Join us now.
Amen.
Amen, amen. Amen, amen. Amen. One more time. Amen. Amen, amen. Amen, amen. Amen.
I remember being at one of our Hebrew school classes and being told about how one of the important values of Judaism is not only question everything around you, but also to maintain an open-mindedness towards all. There are currently around 7.6 million Jews living in America, compared to the 331.9 million people living in the United States. This means that around 2.2898464% of the people currently living in America are Jewish. Growing up, the only Jewish people I ever knew were my family and the people I met at the synagogue. Even at the synagogue, I felt so different from everyone else. Due to various parts of my identity, such as my sexuality, my family dynamics, and my religious opinions, which made me feel separated from everyone else. During my stay at the synagogue, the people here showed me that I was not the only quote-unquote different one. Some of my classmates liked sports I've never heard of, and some of my classmates liked listening to music I've never listened to before, and so on. This made me realize that I was different, but so is everyone else. That is why it is so crucial to stay open-minded. We have no idea of the full depth of someone else, whether it's their life, identity, personality, or anything else. While I may not be very observant and at times feel disconnected from my Jewish culture, I have always appreciated Judaism and the people at this synagogue for teaching me important life values so that I may lead a kind and good life as well as work to achieve a better world for everyone else. So thank you, everyone, for the amazing memories and the crucial life lessons you have all taught me. I hope that I can carry these experiences with me into my adult life so that I too may help to lead and guide those around me. Thank you.
You're a little shorter.
Okay, thank you. Starting when I was 5 years old, almost every Sunday, I would wake up and from 9 to 12 attend Hebrew school. I learned the prayers, stories, and made friends with other Jewish kids that attend the temple. It became my weekly routine. However, when I was 10, I couldn't attend Hebrew school for family reasons. At first, it was nice being able to sleep in or do outdoor activities in the morning, but eventually I missed being part of the Jewish community, even though I didn't realize it. It was an important part of my own personal identity. At the end of the year, my mom offered me the opportunity to go back again, and I took it. When I returned, it was weird. I had been disconnected for what felt like forever, and I didn't know if the people even could recognize me. Contrasting to what I believed, people did remember me, and were still welcoming to me, which is what I like about this community.
After that year, I became more connected to my Jewish identity. I went to service more experienced Jewish sleepaway camps and went to events that our temple held or sister temples held. From these experiences, I met different kinds of people who all accepted each other despite our differences. To me, this is what being Jewish means: accepting someone for their differences and being generally a kind individual to others.
So we are now going to turn in our books to page 46 as we prepare for our Amidah. Again, I'll invite people who can comfortably do so to please rise.
Adonai sefetaitita ufia kiteilateha. Adonai, open up my lips and my mouth and declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rahel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor v'Namara, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, V'konei HaKol, V'zocher Hasei Avot V'Imaot, U'mevii Elam Le'Bneihem, Leman Shemo Be'ava, Melech Ozer U'Mashiach U'Magin, Baruch
Atah Adonai, Magid Avraham, Bezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, V'chayei Kol Atah, Rav L'Hoshia, Morid Atah, Mekalkel Haim Behesem, Mekayei HaKol V'Rakamim Ramim, Someh Holy Milhem Holy, Umojir Asurim, Umekayem Emninato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Baal give you row, Umidom Elah, Melech Me'id, Umekayel, Umatzmi Al Yisrael, V'ne'eman Atah L'Kayor HaKol. Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechayei HaKol.
Page 52. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
Amen.
Please take a few moments for silent prayer for the texture of your own heart. When you're through, you may be seated. Page 62.
Oh, say shalom. Bimruma. Oh, say shalom. Bimroma, Uyase, 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 Shalom. Uyase, 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 Shalom. Uyase, 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 Shalom. Aleinu. May the one who brings peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who brings peace bring peace down, peace down. May the one who brings peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who brings peace bring peace down, peace down. Oh, set shalom. Bimroma. Oh, set shalom. Bimroma. Uyase, 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 Shalom. Uyase, 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 Shalom. Uyase, 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 Shalom. Alleluia.
As I mentioned, it is Rosh Chodesh today. It's the beginning of the new month of Sivan. This Thursday night into Friday is Shavuot. It feels like the third of our pilgrimage festivals because we think the year starts at Rosh Hashanah, but it's really the second of our pilgrimage festivals if you follow the order of the historical telling, right? We were freed from Egypt at Pesach time, so that's the first. We received Torah 50 days later, that's Shavuot. And then we have the wandering in the desert experience in the fall, that's Sukkot, right? In the biblical period, the new year was in the spring, and the festivals follow that cycle, even though we now celebrate the new year in the fall. So Shavuot is Thursday night and Friday, and in conservative and Orthodox congregations outside of the land of Israel, also one more day added on. Shavuot and confirmation, or as we call it here, Kabbalat Torah, which means receiving Torah, right, have been historically tied, first in the Reform movement and then later in many conservative synagogues as well, with the reason that it's an opportunity, in a sense, for each of our students in thinking about what they're going to say and helping lead us today to stand again at Sinai, right? Like, what's being part of the covenant of the Jewish people? What's that mean to me now at this point in my life? They sort of got to stand at Sinai in a certain way at bar or bat mitzvah celebrations, and then a few years later, they're both very similar people and very different people, each of them. It's years of so much growth and so much change as they've come to this place and be able to express their ideas in much more sophisticated ways than they could when they stood on this bima or in their backyard or on a video screen or wherever they were for their B'nai Mitzvah. So you will find on page 266, I think it's actually, let's look, 266, Hallel, which we do in honor of Rosh Chodesh, in honor of the thanks that is in our hearts on this day. And we'll start with the blessing at the top of the page for reciting Hallel, and then we'll skip down to Psalm 118, which is the bottom Hebrew paragraph on that page.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu Likro et Hallel. Hodu l'Adonai ki tov, ki le'olam chasto, ki le'olam chasto. Yomarna, Yomarna, Yisrael.
Ki le'olam chasto.
Ki le'olam chasto, ki le'olam chasto. Yomruna, Yomruna, Ve'ed Aharon. Ki le'olam chasto, ki le'olam chasto. Yomruna, Yomruna, Yirei Adonai. Ki le'olam chasto, ki le'olam chasto. Let all who revere God's name now say, Ki le'olam chasto. Give praise to God, for God is good. Ki le'olam chasto.
Hodu l'Adonai.
Hodu l'Adonai. Ki tov. Ki le'olam chasto. Ki le'olam chasto.
Shalom, everyone. I know most of you know me, but I'm Ben Bush. I've been coming to Temple Beth Israel since I was born. I've had many Jewish experiences in my life through camp, my family, NIFTY, and TBI. Because of this, I feel very connected to the Jewish community. I also have a strong Jewish identity because of it. Like Chloe, like my speech is kind of on camp, so some of my bigger players in my Jewish identity are my family and camp. These have been the biggest players in my Jewish life because my dad is a cantor and most of my close friends come from camp. The camp I go to is URJ Camp Newman in Santa Rosa. I've been going there for the past 10-ish years, and I'll be going back for more next month. Camp is important to me because it feels like a second home. Camp is a second home for me because I'm surrounded by other Jewish people. Since there are hundreds of Jewish people around, it feels like there's a strong bond between everyone, even if they hadn't met. At camp, my session is relatively small. Since we're a small group, we have a close bond. This makes the camp experience even more fun, and it helps my Jewish identity grow every day. My family supports my Jewish life by bringing me to temple, doing Shabbat every Friday, and celebrating the Jewish holidays. My favorite part of this is Shabbat at home because it signifies the end of a week and it brings along good food. Another reason my family makes me feel Jewish is my dad. He has made me feel Jewish by making it easy to get Jewish knowledge and his attempts to get me to practice for my Torah readings. He also has made camp a better place for me, along with my mom, brother, and other campers, by allowing us to know that we have someone that we could go to if we need something. For me, it's mainly socks. This last year, due to a staff shortage, my father was my session's faculty member. This made my session more fun for me because I would get to see my father almost every day, and my friends got to know my dad. An example of this was when I was at one of my friends' bar mitzvahs in Northern California. I was sitting with some of my camp friends, and one of them asked me if my father was there. I said no, since he was at a bar mitzvah, or he had a bar mitzvah to officiate. This made me feel good since it showed me that my friends cared about me and other members of the camp community. Overall, all these experiences show me that community is important and that finding a community where you feel happy and supported is an important factor in happiness and well-being. In the years to come, I will continue to seek out Jewish communities in the new places I live. I hope you have a community that you feel welcomed in. Thank you.
He attempted to get you to practice your Torah reading?
Well, like I did.
Oh, okay, good. I just checking. All right. Good. Okay. Great. Well, thank you. Thank you to all of you. Yeah. He attempted on all of them. Yes. Okay. All right. We are, except Amelia. Yes. Somebody else had to attempt to get her to practice her Torah readings.
2 words for you, Amelia.
Yeah, overpaced that. There you go. So we're going to turn to page 282 in the middle of the page. And ask again, for those who can comfortably do so, to please rise. And if I can get Molly and Adam to open the ark for us. We're going to turn toward the ark a little bit. Aleinu l'shabbeach.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשינו כגויי הרצון, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
287.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Take a moment. You can sit for a moment. We take a moment for memory. Opportunities for celebration are often also opportunities for memory, right? We think about the people that we would like to be able to be here with us who aren't. We think about the generations before who are spiritually with us at this time. And we want to hold those memories and those folks with us. And so I'm going to invite you. I'm going to come through if anybody's remembering somebody, whether or not it's a yahrzeit or a recent death, just you're remembering them at this time. If you'd like to share a name, you're welcome to do so. And then we'll join in a moment of memory with the words of Kaddish. So we rise both as mourners and as those who stand in embrace and support of those who mourn. We join in the words of Kaddish. 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, b'yalma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agalau v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lomei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, shmei d'kudesha brichu, le'elamin kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, ta'amiram bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Zichronam livracha. May their memories always be for a blessing. You may be seated. Before we do presentations, we are going to
One second here.
turn to page 278. We are almost done with counting the Omer, because we stopped counting the Omer on the evening before Shavuot, so Wednesday evening is the final evening of counting that we have. And tonight, we are counting 46. 46, ladies and gentlemen, days of the Omer. And so we're going to start with the blessing. I am ready. We can all read together in the English first. I am ready to fulfill, and then Cantor Paul will lead us in the blessing. Here we go. I am ready to fulfill the mitzvah of counting the Omer.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher hirashanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat ha'omer.
Our praise to you, Adonai, sovereign of all, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to count the Omer.
Hayom shisha ve'arba'im yom shehem shishat shavuot ve'arba'a yamim la'omer.
Today is the 46th day, which is 6 weeks and 4 days of the Omer. Good thing for Omer apps. They help us to know, keep track if we lose our place. And my math isn't so good, so even when I know it's 46 days, then I'm thinking, how many weeks and how many days is that? I gotta figure it out. All right, so we got it. All right. Paul, will that work for me? That wireless? Can I walk around? Or can I take this?
Turn it on.
Can I take that?
Where are you going to stand?
I want to just be able to face.
Oh, sure. Yeah, let's take this.
So in a moment, I know, but it's fading back with this one, so I'm just. In a moment, we're going to present you with Kabbalat Torah certificates and a gift, a Tanakh, for each of you to have. I'll invite up in a moment Leslie Miller, who happens to be a parent, but is also in this role representing our Board of Trustees, not just Molly today, but the Board of Trustees will help me to hand those out in just a moment. But I want to share a few words with you, and then we'll hand those things out, and then we'll offer you a blessing. Cantor Paul and I will offer you a blessing. So, as I said, I know each of you differently, but I do feel blessed to know each of you, and I really look forward to continuing to kind of see where your lives take you in the years to come. I get a couple of years to be able to know a little more closely, perhaps, where you are, and then it gets a little harder to track you, as you go out into the world to know what's going on. But it's pretty wonderful at the same time to watch our students and the people that I'm able to build some relationship with over time grow. Some of you for some of you, I did baby namings for you. For some of you, you ran around, if you went to the TBI preschool, you were running around the preschool yard and coming up to here on Shabbat. For some of you, you joined us later in your schooling or even this year. And yet those have all been blessings to enrich our community with new folks and new ideas and new stories. What we heard from you today is that each of you has your own Jewish story. For most of you, just happens the way it worked out this year. Most of you, your story was somehow about community today, although perhaps different communities, and some were connected through family and some through camps and some through schools and other experiences that people have had and learning. But I hope that wherever you go, one of the things that you know is that there's always a Jewish community that you can find a home base in, that you can connect to, that can give you that sense of connection with others. And that the Jewish community can be a home for you. Also know that when you're home, or you reconnect to us, and even if you're not home, that there are people here, and I'll count myself among those people, but I'm not the only one of those people, who love you and care about you, and will be here to support you. For those of you who were B'nai Mitzvah here, well, that's not necessarily true for everybody, because even that we're B'nai Mitzvah here, because there were unusual B'nai Mitzvah in this class, but often, I don't remember what happened with each of your B'nai Mitzvah. Those pre-pandemic, I can say this happened, those who were pre-pandemic, but when we're standing in front of the Ark and I give a little private blessing, one of the things I often say to you is that, to know that this is a place that there are always people who care about you. And I hope that you carry that from this place and from your other places and experiences of Jewish community, and not only seek out those other Jewish spaces where people care about you, but create other spaces out in the world, both Jewish and not Jewish, right? Where you create caring, supportive, loving communities, right? That nourish you and that you help to nourish others, right? Along the way, right? Judaism is sometimes talked about as an outward-facing tribe, right? So we are, in many ways, a tribe that gives us a sense of home and connection. Many of you talked about that. But we're not a tribe that just looks into ourselves and says, oh, we got to take care of each other. That's true. We do have to take care of each other, but we're an outward-looking tribe. We have to take care of the world as well, right? We have to be responsible beyond ourselves. And as your world continues to get bigger, your world's a lot bigger now than it was when you celebrated your Bar Mitzvah, as you've gotten older, and your world will continue to get bigger, right? And grow in different ways. And to know that in that big world, that you have a role, and that you also have safe spots and communities and places of connection to recharge you, to nourish you, and to move you forward. On a more personal note, I've loved watching you, for those I've known for a long time, watching you grow, watching you come into this place, whether you've been enthusiastic along the way or less enthusiastic along the way, depending on the day. I've still enjoyed being with you and learning with you and sharing with you and watching your lives. And I've also so enjoyed connecting with all of you. So I know that your parents and any other relatives or friends that are here, they look at you today, and a part of it is like they can't believe, right, that you're as adult as you are, and that it just seems like yesterday that those baby namings or ceremonies. I was saying that I think, I'd have to go back and be sure, but that Chloe is the first confirmand whose parents I married. I did the wedding for Stacy and Dave. So, and they're still married, so that's good. Yeah, thanks. But that's one of the great blessings for me as a congregational rabbi, right, who's been someplace for a long time. I think Cantor Bush could say the same thing about we've been here a long time, that we've had the opportunity to watch you grow. And it's really quite a blessing to watch you become the amazing young men and women, people, and that you are. And so blessed to be a little piece, just a little piece of your journey. So we're going to pass out certificates, the same order that you walked in, so you can know when you're coming up next. I'm going to move these things closer. You don't have to walk over here. So I'm going to put these here. I'm going to hand out the certificates, and then I'll come and we'll give them a call. Okay? Who's first? Evan Bass. Here you go. Mazel tov, Evan. We'll be very formal here. Benjamin Isaac Bush. Since that's what it says on here. There you go. Mazel tov. Thanks. Alicia Heskin. Mazel tov. Chloe Jane Madrid. That's what your parents put on the form. Molly Dorothy Miller. Mazel tov. Rebecca Orley Sobel-Sperry. Mazel tov. And Amelia Weissman. You got lots of snaps. That's good. There you go. Mazel tov. No, that's what you gave me. Some people gave me middle names, some did not. Back to your seat. So Cantor Paul and I are going to offer a blessing to all of you. And then we'll close the service after that with Siman Tov and Mazel Tov. Please allow our students to move into the social hall first, and then you'll follow them in, although then they have to take off their robes before they eat dessert. So that's the way that will play out. And I want to also wish Mazel Tov to all of the families as well. May God bless you with good and keep you safe. May God be with you and be kind to you. May you always know that God is close, and may God give you the gift of peace.
Simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov, yehelanu. Simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov, yehelanu. Yehelanu, yehelanu, ulechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, yehelanu, ulechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, yehelanu, ulechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, yehelanu, ulechol Yisrael. Mazel tov! Mazel tov to everybody. Toda Rabbah to Phil Mendelson for handling our video portion. Anybody who wants a copy of this or wants to have access to this, just let me know. It's available on our private Facebook page and YouTube and on StreamSpot. So thank you, and see you for Shavuot. Thank you.